Yay, cool. Okay, we are now live on the internet. Hello, everyone. I'm Tegan. I am the overlord slash EIC of Slink Chunk Press. Yes, these are my wonderful readers. We have Anne is Attack of the Johnsons today. That's what I wrote in the thing because you both had the same last week. So I was like, yeah, that works cool. So we have Anne E. Johnson.
That's me.
And we also have, hello. And we also have Stephanie Johnson as well.
Hello.
Hi. And they're going to be reading with us today for Slink Chunk Storytime, which I'm super excited about. So if there's anyone here who doesn't really know what we're about, which will probably be most of you, we are an online mag that publishes mainly urban fantasy, speculative, and science fiction, but our main focus is diversity in gender, race, and sexuality. We have 3 issues out now, which is really exciting. It's actually our 6-month anniversary as of this issue, so I'm going to wear it just like in celebration. Cool. Okay, so what else were we doing? Yeah, no, that's pretty much it. So I think we're going to go with Anne first. I'm going to read her bio out so you know pretty much everything you need to about her. Okay, so Anne E. Johnson lives in Brooklyn. Her short speculative fiction has appeared in Frostfire Worlds, Shelter of Daylight, The Future Fire, and elsewhere. Her series of humorous science fiction novels, The Webrid? Sorry, did I say that wrong? Yeah, Webrid Chronicles is being published by Candlemark and Gleam and writes speculative fiction for children and tweens as well. Learn more on her website, anneejohnson.com. Okay, go for it. You can say it's your turn.
Thank you so much. It's wonderful to be here. Just a word about this story. My story is called Andre's Alice, and the reason there's a white rabbit next to me is because this is an Alice in Wonderland tribute story. 2015 is the 150th anniversary of Lewis Carroll's Alice in Wonderland, so I wanted to write a story celebrating that. And I thought, what could the 21st century contribute to this tradition? So I made my story urban and focused on a transgender character. So I'm going to read half of this story, and hopefully at the end of this half you will be dying to find out what happens to Alice, and you will go to the Slink Chunk Press website and read the rest of it. Please do. Here we go. This is Andre's Alice. Andre hated getting rained on and studying calculus about equally. Therefore, when it poured on his way home from school, he didn't hesitate. Lifting his calculus textbook, he opened its thick cover like a mansard roof over his head. The wind swooshed upward and the book turned into a sail, dragging Andre across his Brooklyn neighborhood. All the detritus of a typical Bedford-Stuyvesant Monday sailed past. When an empty egg carton shot toward him, Andre repurposed the book as a shield. "Thank God for calculus," he sputtered, staggering through the security door of his apartment building. Bounding up the stairs, the elevator was still broken, he sang the famous theme of Pointy-Nosed Miss Gulch, riding her bike past Dorothy's farm in The Wizard of Oz. "Oh, Auntie Em," Andre declared to the empty apartment, "it's a cyclone." He glanced at the clock. Mom would be home from work at 5:20. That gave him just under 2 hours to be Alice. There was no time to waste. Having dumped his warped and wrinkled math book on the kitchen table, Andre rushed to his room. Although he was alone, he closed the door just in case. He tore off the skinny jeans and burnout tee he'd worn to school. "I'm coming, Alice," he chanted over and over as he pushed a pile of boxes off an old trunk at the bottom of his closet. Inside he found the comforting sight of a sky-blue dress with a sequined bodice. Andre held up the dress and admired row upon row of 1-inch fringe stretching from the empire waist to the floor. "Hello, Alice," said Andre. He slid the garment up his slender body and zipped it with practiced, flexible arms. "Shoes now." Once the charcoal sheer stockings were on, he stepped into a pair of ivory pumps. Their satin finish gave them a pearlescent sheen that he never tired of admiring. And the face. The same moment he reached for Alice's makeup bag, the wind gusted, clattering the window with hail. "Dreadful," said Andre, because that's what Alice would say, and he had almost become her. "Don't worry, darlings," he assured the 20 or so stuffed animals piled on his bed. "Mama Alice will keep you safe." He set his mind to the final stages: brown foundation, scarlet bronze lipstick, jet black eyeliner and mascara, copper eyeshadow, and the last most glorious step. From a high shelf above the bed he pulled a box marked Andre's Old Toys. The label was a lie. He removed the cover and lifted out a black bouffant wig. "So glad you're here, Alice," Alice said to herself in the mirror. She blew a kiss, and the transformation was complete. When Alice waltzed around the little room, it became a glamorous ballroom. She curtsied to Prince Leopold, who had been a plywood dresser only moments before, and winked demurely when he shook his gold braid epaulets at her. Prince Leopold happened to be a dead ringer for a boy named Leo in Andre's American history class, but Alice knew him only as a prince. She was about to allow His Highness to kiss her hand when a wet thunk against the window made her jump and yelp. Using a finger that ended in a silver press-on nail, she pushed up one slat of the Venetian blinds. 2 hysterical pink eyes stared back at her through the pane. "Prince Leopold," she squealed, "you simply must rescue the injured kitten on the terrace." The terrace was a rusting AC unit. When the prince made no move to help, Alice herself took a closer look. The injured kitten was a sopping wet, filthy, bedraggled stuffed rabbit. There was lingering evidence that its fur had once been white. Injured kittens were a sad fact of life, but a stuffed animal in peril was more than Alice could take. After a withering glance back at her impotent prince, she addressed the suffering bunny. "I'll bring you in out of the storm, poor baby," she said, reaching toward the window. The glass dissolved as her fingers touched it, and then the air conditioner melted away. And then the wall. Within seconds, the entire bedroom was gone. This wasn't the usual Alice fantasy where she saw the crappy real stuff in an impossibly glamorous way. No, this was something much more freakishly real. As far as Alice could see in all directions was a landscape of peach-colored cotton candy fibers glistening under a lemon sherbet sky. The stuffed rabbit appeared somewhat whiter now, but still could have used a bleaching. He bounced among the cotton candy hillocks, leaving dents that puffed back into shape as he sprang upward. "Too fun!" declared Alice, who leapt toward the nearest fluffy pile. Unlike the buoyant bunny, however, Alice stuck. Worse, she sank. The candy floss grabbed at her pumps and twined around her ankle. The last thing Alice saw, as the ceiling of peach steel wool shut over her, were the white rabbit's pink eyes looking down at her. It was a soft landing, thanks to the floor being covered with a quilt. Actually, Alice recognized this quilt. "This is my bed," she exclaimed, wobbling in pumps on her own mattress. "But it's taking up the entire floor." She looked around. "And why are the walls white? Have I lost my sanity? Whose room is this really? I would never have white walls. Where's my Lady Gaga poster and all my stuffed—" Her stuffed animals showed up just as she wondered about them. They crawled up on their own, struggling through the crevice between the bed and the walls. "You're alive!" Alice accused Reginald, a blue and pink striped elephant who'd been her favorite for years. "Of course we're alive," said Reginald. "Don't pretend you don't know. I mean, your mom has no clue, but you." His voice was gruffer than Alice would have imagined. Reginald pushed his soft trunk against her nose and growled, "You want to know what it feels like?" This sounded ominous. What feels like? Although Reginald's smile was sewn on, it somehow became a smirk. Cuddles, he announced. Turning toward a wall, he called to Clarissa, an orange bear with a green tummy. Show her, Claire. Alice, eager for a cuddle, opened her arms to her beloved bear. With each bounding step across the room-sized bed, Clarissa nearly doubled in size. By the time she reached Alice, her fuzzy ears bent against the ceiling. Don't crush me! Alice begged the giant teddy, pulling her knees up to her chest and crossing her forearms in front of her face. Two plump orange limbs, ample as tree trunks, slid behind her shoulders and pulled her into a lime shag carpet of bare chest. Oh, my widow pookums, Clarissa cooed. This, Alice realized, was what she always said when she cradled a stuffed friend. How ironic that Andre, the terribly lonely boy, would now die as a girl smothered by too much love. Don't fight it, advised a reedy voice. When Alice squirmed around to see, she found Mr. Olaf, her stuffed penguin, waving from the quilt. Cuddles are scary at first, Mr. Olaf intoned sagely, but once you relax, they're nice. Closing her eyes, Alice took a big breath and let it out slowly. Sure enough, what had felt like being snuffed out by a pillow now seemed like a loving embrace. Alice snuggled back, digging her hands deep into Clarissa's microfiber fur. She'd nearly fallen asleep when a chorus of alarmed animals jolted her awake. Interloper! Squawked Sachi, the Japanese silky chicken. Interloper! Echoed Terry the tiger. The animals' cries of interloper pushed the white walls outward. Clarissa, losing her balance, opened her thick orange arms. For a few seconds Alice held on to the bear's tummy fur, but then her fingers slipped and she fell. Down, down, down. At least it's just a bed down there, thought Alice, but she never hit the bed. She just kept falling. Ooh, said Alice, feeling the wind blow up her skirt. The layers and layers of fringe on her dress stuck outward like the legs of a million millipedes. Ah-ha, she said, seeing the dirty white rabbit with big pink eyes was falling right beside her. You're the interloper, observed Alice. Your animals seem to think so, said the white rabbit. Whump! They landed. The smell of an exquisite perfume whirled around Alice's nostrils. White lights lit white marble counters from inside, giving the surfaces a ghostly, expensive glow. And on those counters, paradise, sighed Alice. Cosmetics department, the white rabbit specified. Alice nodded. Exactly, my idea of paradise. With a roll of his pink eyes, the white rabbit hopped away. But Alice didn't care. She'd found what she hadn't even known she was seeking. You, she said to a tube of lipstick, are the reason I'm here. Alice looked around for a sales rep to show her the products. Ahem, she called, seeing no one about. I can test the colors, right? Otherwise, how will I know if they work with my complexion? Choose me, said a tiny voice. No, choose me, insisted another. Alice stared at the tray of lipstick tubes. Did you say something? I'm the right one for you, claimed a tube labeled Dankly Morose. Its voice came out of its cap. I'll highlight the burnt umber of your eyes. Alice reached toward it, but another tube distracted her. I'm exquisitelicious, perfect for a glamour girl like you. Alice's hand stretched toward that tube, but stopped when suddenly all the tubes shuddered and stood at attention. She's here, hissed several lipsticks. When Alice looked around, she saw no one. She waited a few more seconds, her hand hovering over a glittering gold tube labeled Crimson Alter Ego. Finally, she couldn't wait any longer. I'm trying this on, she announced loudly. Pulling off the gold cap, she fell in love with the hue. It reminded her of a broken heart pureed in a vat of molten copper with an undertone of nightmare. It had chutzpah, as Andre's high school principal, Mrs. Rosenstein, liked to say. You're gonna make me shine, Alice cooed to the color as it twisted out toward her puckered lips. It touched her softly and spread smoothly, giving off a faint scent of lilac. Perfect, said Alice. It does suit you, a loud voice boomed down from above. Who's there? Demanded Alice, still holding the pigment to her lips. That shade really makes the contours of your face pop, said the voice. Do you suppose it would do the same for me? Alice tried not to be alarmed by the fact that the lipstick seemed to be glued to her lower lip. Speaking as clearly as she could under the circumstances, she offered a bargain. I can definitely advise you on this, but I need to see your face. There was a moment of silence. Then the voice boomed, You have a point. Cover up your pretty hairdo. Do what? But Alice didn't get a chance to discuss it further. The ceiling shattered. As plaster chips rained down on the cosmetics wonderland, a huge hand stretched down toward Alice. She knew she should be having a Fay Ray and King Kong moment, screaming as the fingers closed around her. Instead, she was preoccupied with something that didn't make sense. The lipstick, which had finally come free from her lip, no longer had any color. It had gone as white as a steer's skeleton in the Mojave Desert. As the colossal hand drew her upward, a planet-sized face came into view. It had the cheekbones and eye shape of a young woman's face. I just love cosmetics, the lady said, but I have trouble choosing. Seeing a way out of her predicament, Alice offered another bargain. Your skin is a bit more yellow than mine, she said. You'll want a deeper sense of purple in your pigment, so put me back down and I'll find something nice for you. I'm thinking dankly morose is more your scene. No, said the face, its eyes wide with hunger. I'll just use yours. Alice held up the white lipstick. Sorry, hun, but there's no color left. It just drained out somehow. In the huge face, the huge lips spread into a smile, wider than the Brooklyn Queens Expressway. I see plenty of color. Alice looked at her hand holding the lipstick. Her hand was red. More precisely, it was crimson alter ego. So was her arm. Using the convex side of the lipstick like a funhouse mirror, Alice saw that her face and hair were crimson too. She dropped the lipstick and reached for the hem of her dress to check her legs. Her blue dress had turned bright gold. Its fabric hardened like armor, the pleats and tucks smoothed and rounded out, forming a tube that rose to her nose. An overgrown cosmetics lady held Alice differently now between thumb and forefinger. And here came the other hand to twist the tube. Around spun Alice, her crimson shoulders and head emerging from her stiff gold dress. Help Mama get ready for the ball, said the cosmetics lady. A breeze rushed past as her giant hand pulled Lipstick Alice up to her giant mouth. Alice's head moved rapidly toward a bead of spittle the size of her fist, bobbing along the lips' cracked surface. No! Screamed Alice, scrunching her eyes and bunching her fingers and wishing she'd never seen a cosmetics counter in her whole sorry life. And if you want to know what happens to her, you need to go to Slink Chunk Press and read the rest of the story. Thank you so much.
Well done. You read that wonderfully. Oh, that was great. Oh, I'm so stoked with that. That was awesome. Now I want to go and read. I want to go and read the rest of the story again.
Please do. But read yours first.
Yeah. Okay. Yes. After. Thank you so much. And I didn't know that it was, what, 150 years, did you say? The anniversary?
That's right.
Oh, that's really cool. Well, you did a fantastic tribute. I loved it. Well done. All right.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so now it's Stephanie's turn. Okay, so I'm going to read your bio out. That's cool, yeah?
Thanks, yeah.
Yep, cool. All right, so Stephanie Renee Johnson is a pretty rad lady living in Nashville, North Carolina. She is currently pursuing a master's in writing at Lenoir Rhyne University, where she writes some funky poetry about old dead poets and young dead poets. She has previously been published by Dance Macabre, Prick of the Spindle, and First Stop Fiction, among others. You can find her kooky art at theblogblog at wordpress.com.
Thank you.
Cool. All right. So you can go for it.
If I say a word about this, this was written for my creative nonfiction class last semester, and first I wrote just a letter, and I asked my classmates what they thought, and they said, "Oh, it needs something. It's pretty complete, but it needs something." And I paired the original letter that I had with a letter that I'd written myself at the beginning of the semester about learning how to cry. And so if you want to look at the formatting on Slink Chunk Press, anything that is to my past self is left aligned, and anything that is indented is to my present self. So I have no way of reading that and notating that while I read, but if you read it at Slink Chunk Press, you can take a look at that. So without further ado, this is Learn How to Cry, Advice to My 15-Year-Old Self. Sweet pea, my savings account gathers dust, and I pray every time I start my damn car. This is all I have over you. More scars and more hurt in my heart. I have memorized where the bombshells lie. I must stress to you I'm no god. I don't have all the answers. You succeed. That's what I'm writing to tell you. Breathe deep. Feel the air go through your lungs and your belly. I would never. Staring into a mirror in a public bathroom, I learned your eyes do puff up when you cry hard enough. In the past 2 years, I've studied how I feel when I'm about to spill over. I'm practiced at clearing a stuffed nose. I cannot unclench my jaw when the tears start. That's my next project. You stare at the world through the windows of your school bus, searching for Saddleback Mountains and dry grass. But you see rain and retention ponds. Nothing is familiar here. The air smells fresh, not like dust. You are used to the scent of wildfire, carried over the Santa Ana winds. I spent over a year in counseling, leather couches, wadded tissues, listening, tilted heads. I've done the work, but I'm never done. It's hard to maintain good self-talk when you're bathing in awkward newness. Laura told me to value my story. I'm already clenching my fists. You cry alone in your purple bedroom, missing everything familiar. Your mountains, your friends, your theater company, your shopping plazas, your childhood being mere feet away. In your bookstore-bought journals, you scribble that you're okay. You aren't. Rename your tear ducts tragedy and mourning. Cry as much as you need and light candles in vigil. Fire and angst can rage from the ends of your hair in a static. Claim your right to be not okay. No one warns you about growing up, about comforting yourself when you're broken. No one tells you when you're playing hopscotch or house. Eventually, you're going to have to hold your own arms as you weep. At the end of the day, that's who you've got, kid. Lovers and friends help, but who holds you when you're alone? Your friends are stretched across the map. You squeeze their memories in your fists, punch them at potential companions in this land of humid summer. Friendships are not a monogamous phenomenon, dear heart. You can find possibilities here, among the hurricanes and summer rain of Central Florida. These are people you expect to graduate from after high school, but they surprise you by traveling with you through adulthood. They will blunder with you through the tumult of first jobs and first apartments, of moving and rent, of coupling up and breaking up, and down payment on less shitty cars. The girl with crisscross arms will photograph one of the happiest moments of your life. The boy who covers his pain with electric guitar will one day be your lover. His emotions will fit your future like banners. I'm okay. You're all right. I've created a chorus I breathe to myself every time I cry into my pillow. I wind my fingers through my own hair, the way my mother did when I was a child. You found the dandelions growing up from the cracked sidewalk in Long Beach beautiful because they punched up through concrete. This miracle occurs in Florida too. Sawgrass grows through riverbeds, thrives in the currents, and pushes up through the water to grow. I try to love myself the best that I can in watery moments. I line the bottom of my purse with Kleenex and Advil. Sometimes I just grit my teeth. Sweetheart, your parents love you. Despite your cross-house shouts of whatever and the repeated chorus of fuck you, over the next 15 years, you will navigate this balance with a compass of DNA strands and text messages. Light a candle each time you have an honest conversation with mom and dad. Celebrate it like a birthday cake. Because I was tired of using paper sheets, I snuck into my father's bedroom and stole his handkerchief. Your parents have forgotten how 15 feels. They try to help, like a lion teaching a giraffe to roar. Your slammed door emotions bewilder them. There is nothing wrong with reminding them that high school resembles an untended fire in a forest of dry leaves. Ask Dad about his school dances to remind him what awkward feels like. Invite Mom dress shopping with you so you can learn other women's bodies aren't just magazine kindling. I stole the blank white handkerchief in my father's underwear drawer, the one no one would miss. I could pretend I'd inherited rather than thieved. The cliché, I don't know what came over me, isn't true. I ached to transform my emotions into beautiful moments. A flourish of a hanky. I still carry it in my purse. Here's how your parents love you. You wear a beautiful sky dress to homecoming one year. You begged it down from a store window where it posed as a beacon. It follows your body until your hips, and then poofs out into a flame of tulle. A boy will ask you to dance. His class ring will catch the material as he grabs your ass. You rightfully slap the bastard and march away. The tulle will tear. You will call your father and mother crying. They will drive 45 minutes to pick you up. They will buy you McDonald's. You will scoff, but also feel like the princess because, despite the tear in your dress, you are the prettiest creature that McDonald's has ever seen. Your parents love you like this. I pretend to be a graceful woman. Emily Post was always prepared, a lady. That's what the hanky means to me. An attempt to prepare myself for the hurricane of tears. Keep that dress, even with the torn fabric. Do not cut the straps from the shoulders trying to make it sexy. Let it be beautiful and innocent still. Years later, you'll miss it when you forget what it's like to be 15 and delicate. Keep that dress. And to read the rest, you'll need to go read it on slinkchunkpress.com. Thank you.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I'm so excited because it was our first creative nonfiction piece, and I was so excited that it was so moving. I was like, yes. I get really excited when I get.
It's just gorgeous. I love that.
Yeah, really beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
Of course, you deserve it. Thank you so much, guys. This was such a good reading from both of you, and I feel really honored that you wanted to have it published in my humble little magazine because I think they're both wonderful. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
No worries. Do you have anything coming out at all that you want to plug? Anything at all that you're doing that you want people to know about?
Oh, one thing that I've got that just came out is I have a story in a wonderful anthology called the 2015 Young Explorer's Adventure Guide.
Ooh,
and it's
cool.
it's really great. It's a book that is all about celebrating diversity in science fiction for children. It's a great project. Please do check that out.
I'm gonna get that for sure.
Yeah,
that sounds
please
so
do.
good. Cool.
I would love
Right.
I have nothing forthcoming at the moment, but I will keep you all posted and let you know.
I'm
Me
sure.
too.
Yeah, for sure. That would be great.
Thank you so much.
Cool. Well, thanks, guys. Oh, sorry.
All right.
I missed something. Sorry, just everything dropped out. Did you want to say something, Stephanie?
Oh no, I thought Anne said something. I'm sorry.
No.
The awkwardness of technology. I apologize.
No, it's fine. We got there until the end, and then everything just went woo. Nah, it's great. Thank you so much, guys. Okay, so yeah, issue 4 submissions for issue 4 are open now. So if you thought that the kind of stuff you're writing fits into our aesthetic or what these guys have submitted, please send it through. I will have a look at it and give you feedback. Oh.
Ignore that. I don't know what's happening.
Okay.
But I will leave. You don't have to deal with that. Thank you so much.
No worries. Bye. All right, cool. Yes. Don't worry, it's okay. It's just a mild apocalyptic event. Don't worry about it, guys. It's fine.
It's just in Asheville. It's all right.
Yeah, it's okay. Everyone else is saying I'm fine. I'm not even on that continent, so it doesn't even matter.
All right. Well, take care.
Yes, thank you. Thanks very much, guys. Yes, okay. Peace out. Bye.